Myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Basically, today we are going to talk about the Formula World basically, and in this basically this is a part 10 basically. Nine part is already over. So basically, here we are discussing it. Till now, basically, we have not discussed about what actually the formula is in the PMP basically, and how many types of formulas are, and which type of formulas are used in initialization part, in a planning part, requirement part, testing part, and then the closing part of the project. This basically we have not discussed here. So basically we are discussing here that basically on the base of what basically or parameters basically this all formula has created with. Basically this formula has created on the base of formulas only. On the base of some set of user stories is basically just now we have saw in ninth part. Then basically we have saw a few power supply basically which are getting passed by the power supply company. We have few basically power supply basically that is passing near around the building so that basically building is not falling down. Each and every buildings are standing at the same position, which with the base of the power supply data is basically passed by the World Bank basically to the each and every countries basically, and this basically country purchase the subscription basically from the World Bank basically. According to that only the power supply gets to the each and every countries basically. This basically we have saw just now basically. Now basically we are going to saw a little bit more detail about the power supply data. So here basically we have taken one example of the one guy basically. His head was damaged by the basically he's staying in assume he's staying in India in some city basically, and this basically his health was damaged. So basically his head was damaged. That means without government approve this will not possible, because whatever oxygen that person, each and every person, for example in India basically there are 150 crore people. It's basically more than this. 150 crore people are there. So 150 crore people basically has divided. So basically to create the government task very easy, they have basically divided 150 crore into blood group basically. So basically blood groups are everybody knows A positive, A, B, C, like this. Basically there are many blood groups. So basically according to that basically they are passing, they have passed the oxygen data to each and every people basically. You can say this basically to create the task easily. Basically they are divided into blood group basically. Not they basically, it's a medical industry has divided the blood cells basically of each and every person into blood group basically, so that the task of the medical department basically will become easy. So basically this is about the basically how basically government has passed the is passing basically data basically, you can say. So like this basically government says that we have passed sorry, Indian government says that we have passed the data, and each and every people data is basically we are approving it and we are passing it basically. Like this basically, each and every people's data are getting passed, and a few special data are also getting passed. That basically special data passed through computers. Some special data are passed through the mobile. Few special data are passed through the speakers basically. Few special data are getting passed through the laptop basically. Few data are passed through the equipment at whatever the things is near about that person basically. If for example there is one pen is near to him, near to that person, then basically that pen is basically connected with set of oxygen data basically, you can say. So that data also basically they can use, because there basically there are two types of data available in the environment basically. One is negative and one is positive. So basically to damage basically the negative energies are used, and to repair basically positive energies are used. So basically company rule says that, sorry, oxygen rule says that you have to pass damage and repair both oxygen in the environment. So basically you can say this is the basically business also, because if bimari disease will not happen, then basically how doctors will survive basically. Basically government says, government will give this only answer basically. One person asked that why basically you are passing the negative energies, because that's generating the disease. Then basically one person told that why doctor basically post has been created, that is also one question. So basically to keep maintain the doctor post also, you can say the government basically have to pass the negative energy also, because government is telling that we have to take care of each and every post to people, because this post is already created, that's why basically. So basically here basically we are talking about one word basically, that is formula. In that basically formula we are talking about the management plans formula basically. So how basically the base of the project management plan formulas is getting generated, which are all the parameters basically which has already taken by the set of companies, that is basically CMM level, IOC level companies, Six Sigma companies basically, how they have taken the formula, how basically they have collected the formulas basically, you can say. And then basically how they integrated each and every formulas with the set of set of signs basically, plus is there, minus is there, that division is, and basically whenever the basically index basically comes into picture, that time basically division are used. So basically this basically it's a cola method also, we can say. Like this basically they have passed each and everything basically. And then basically you can say it's a formula word basically, which is ongoing basically. So formula, before formula we start the formula, we should know basically from which all are the parameters which has created by the project management plan, and which are created by the PMP management plan, that is basically project management plan groups only. So how they have created each and every parameters basically, you can say each and every parameters, how they have created, on the base of what basically they have created. For example, actual cost. So what is the base of the actual cost? How this word actual cost derived, and how this actual cost word basically has created basically. That also we will see. We will be going to see basically. So basically, each and every words basically, sorry, each and every formulas basically has created by the set of groups, and the base basically which they have taken basically, that is the this all examples only basically. When you go in depth basically, you will automatically connect with this all the examples which we have discussed till now basically. That is basically till ninth part, which basically this is 10th part ongoing. And this up to ninth path basically we have see, if we have saw basically few examples basically, on the base of what basically the each and every formulas are basically created, each and every formula words how basically has created basically. So till now basically we have taken few examples basically, how basically formula keywords basically has been created basically. So in next part basically we are going to see little bit more about the formula basically, formula word basically, how basically formula word derived, and basically why formula required basically. Without formula also basically we can finish the project. Without formula also we can finish the project. But basically sometime as a project management plan people says that we need to in between also, sometimes we need to create some certain we have to take some certain decision basically. We have to take some certain decisions that if the project is not going fine, then basically what decision we can take, because basically if the project is not going fine, then basically you have to take some decisions so that the project can complete on time basically, on time and within the budget basically. So this all are the basically the parameters basically, which basically we are going to see basically, that also we can say. And basically on the base of this of all formulas basically, we are going to finish the project basically. So without formula basically the project can be completed, but the person who is 100% perfect in the project manager basically, in project SDLC side basically, then also he can say that basically sorry, it's very, it might not complete the project without the project, without the formulas basically, you can say, because they need some certain analysis data also. For that basically the small companies basically, then like ISO private limited company, they basically creates their own formulas basically, you can say. So basically, private limited company. So basically, formula has reached up to this level. That is basically now we can say. I will take one more example. Basically, you can say that is basically, for example, if you are telling that software company can generate human needs, basically, right? One of the software company like TCS basically are telling that we can generate the vegetables, we can generate the fruits basically. So this is just example as a taken as a TCS, and because the big software companies basically their big income is this only basically on the base of software company of the base of software basically they generates the human needs basically. So human needs are created on the base of the softwares which they create, and on the base of the software data basically which they create, and they do the certain process. So basically to help the process basically the energy companies, power companies and nuclear companies are used basically. So basically we are going to take about a few time in energy companies and power companies and nuclear companies how basically they do the process basically little bit about, because uh, uh, complete basically process will take lots of time, and basically practically it's not possible basically to display also here basically in video because it's very complicated basically. So in next part basically we are going to see something more about the formula keyword. This is basically 10th part, and in 11th part basically we are going to see something more about the